Okay, thank you. Bienvenue. Welcome to. This is how AI is reshaping the tech landscape, a panel discussion. We're waiting for one more panelist, but when he comes in, I will introduce him. So starting at the left here, actually starting with myself, I'm Devin Zuczek. I'm a software architect at Purple Innovation. That's a mattress company in the United States. Unfortunately, you can't buy it in Canada. But I've worked primarily in the Drupal ecosystem. I've only started getting into using AI professionally, but that's why we have a panel of AI experts here. So starting at the left, John Doyle is founder and CEO of Digital Polygon. In a world where digital has become the norm, John has established his career on building it better. With a mission to leave every website better than he found it, John created Digital Polygon to deliver cutting-edge solutions for the most challenging business problems. Up to next on the right, Gabriel Laliberté. He is the global head of strategy at Valtech. He advises C-level leaders on AI, composable transformation, and experience innovation, partnering with brands to drive growth and develop future-proof strategies around the world. And over here I have Houda, Kaddioui, an AI specialist with Google Cloud. She's an AI and machine learning specialist on Google Cloud's customer engineering team. She brings 8 years of experience of AI expertise to help leaders across industries augment their businesses with generative AI. And outside of work, she enjoys building things from electronics to furniture and spending time outside. And I will introduce Jean-Luc when he shows up. So the first question, so let's go beyond all the hype of AI. What questions are you getting from customers or either internal teams? What practical problems are you currently trying to solve or improve with AI? And anybody can start, and we can just take it from there. And speak loudly, because I think the microphone's here.
All right, so I think our agency, there's kind of two sets of problems we're trying to solve. One is how do we as an agency survive AI? And how do we become more efficient and use these tools effectively to support our customers, but do it safely? Right? So I think that's the first bucket. The second bucket that I'm seeing on the industry side is how do organizations shift the way that they are doing their marketing and their websites to meet the new demand of user experience from customers. So I don't know if you've heard the saying, search is out, ask is in. But I think we're already in this world where people are really looking for information to be brought to them instead of going to find it. And I think AI and chat in particular is going to change the way that information is gathered and presented to people and how they interact with it, which leads to a lot of new opportunities for everyone. And a lot of change that's going to happen here really fast. I think we saw things go slow, not slow, but slower when the tech boom happened in the 2000s and social media changed interaction again. What was the experiential web, and now we're seeing AI do this, but at a much more rapid clip. So I think from an end user standpoint, from a client standpoint, it's really how do we change the way that users interact with their content and reimagine the web.
Yeah. So I've been working with customers across different industries, and I think the one main thing that we see is really this shift from how do we use AI for simple tasks to really more complex processes. How do we bring, it's not anymore about cutting costs, it's really just this new revenue streams, new way of doing things, and which is really exciting. So these are like companies who are starting to explore. And then you have companies who are a little ahead, who are the early adopters, and then you have these agents from era. And their developers have been building agents left and right, and now they're asking, okay, how do we manage all of this, and how do we, govern, how do we administer all of this? So we start seeing like agent ops terms emerging. We start seeing questions about security, about governance, about management. So these are like the two aspects that we see.
I think on my side, the questions that we get, one of them is a lot of people have been doing AI for the last year, 2 years, being enterprise, and the first thing they come now with question is, get me out of that POC purgatory. Can I do something that will actually move the needle, right? And I think that's a lot that's coming right now. And I'd say a year ago, the questions and the concerns were really to the back office, so business to employee, speed up processes, develop AI to get operational efficiency. And now the problems and the solutions are really half and half between this back office and the front office, this experience layer, revisiting the experience layer. And it comes with these questions and with this problem they want us to solve is my website still relevant? Are my digital touchpoints still relevant? Are they going to be still relevant in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now? What do I have to do right now in order to leverage AI to be relevant and innovative and future-proof? And this is a big shift that we see from a year or two ago, that it was really solely around back office questions and interrogations. And now it's really about how can I make my back office a service in my front office, and how can I leverage AI to bring that experience up there.
And I will now introduce Jean-Luc.
Hi, sorry, I was with a customer.
I can read for you. Jean-Luc is
Customer first, sorry.
Jean-Luc is VP Data and AI Adoption at SBI Group. He brings 20 years of experience in digital and IT, led sales and marketing at SBI Group, helped grow iWeb from its startup days into an acquisition, has held leadership positions at Virtuoso, Move AI, and Google Montreal, supporting AI and data innovation across Canada. The question that I asked the rest of the panelists were, what problems are you trying to solve, either for your customers or your internal teams? What questions are you getting? What problems are you trying to solve with AI?
We're trying to solve all problems. We did a lot of AI projects, let's say 2 or 3 years ago, didn't work. So now when we're going back to the CFOs or things like that, like, okay, I need a really good story to make this happen. I need an ROI, a plan, and then you need to get out of the POC really more quickly than before. This is the problem. Rebuild the confidence in AI. It's difficult. It's working, but it's difficult.
Following up on that, I guess, what misconceptions are you hearing from customers who maybe either overvalue or like undervalue, going into AI?
I'm also in sales.
For anybody too.
I'm also in sales, so I'm using the word. I did work with Vincent. I say the word magic really too often. So getting things done for real, I think it's something that we need to do. It's two things. On the service company, we oversell, and on the customer side, they think that we'll fix everything. This is one of the problems, and I'll say the biggest challenge is just right now not using only ChatGPT and getting on real AI model on forecasting, churn, whatever. It's working, but it's not perfect. So it's still difficult. You need someone like Houda to make it happen.
Well, we see a couple of things, and I said, just to follow up. We see companies who are just like figuring it out, others who are adopting and who run POCs. One big misunderstanding is really considering the AI project as a technical project. You buy it, you plug it in, we're done. It's not. It's really a business strategy. It's a roadmap. You have to sit, you have to think about it. So yes, you need your infrastructure and your data, but there's a long process where you have change management, you have upskilling of your people. I think everyone who's going to be using, not just the builders, need to be upskilled. And this is like a top-to-bottom change. You really need that change management and that business stakeholders buy-in to make it happen. And then on the other extreme, you have the ones that are a little, they're not sure, they want to try, they want to do like the little POC, but for multiple reasons, and one of them is like being afraid of AI replacing us with jobs. This is a side conversation, we can look into that, but what's going to happen in the short term is another company replacing this one. I always heard the person with AI skills will replace the same person without AI skills. It's the same for companies. So upskill your people and then address that up front. I think it's happening anyway. So these are the two extremes.
That's a very good point, Houda, and I think I'm just going to double down very quickly on what we just said, because I think it says it all. Essentially, is we all want AI, but are we ready for it? Is the corporation ready for it? I think that's where the big misconception is. Don't ask what AI can do for you, that's what you can do for it. But essentially, it's really the big misconception, and thinking that if you're not doing it and you're just postponing it, it's going to be okay, I'll tackle it on the next quarter, and the next quarter, it's fast. It goes fast. And every week or every quarter you're not like putting your two hands into figuring out the business process and the governance framework for your business to see how you're going to embed it, I think that's what a misconception is. Seeing it as a tool or something coming in versus an actor that will drastically change the core of your business.
Yeah, I think you guys covered most of it. I think what I see in a lot of enterprise organizations is that their teams are scared of it. And I think one thing that organizations can do to overcome that is what you said, change management and enablement and training for your teams, right? Like everyone sees the headlines, AI sold the car for $1, we can never use that in our organization, right? And well, that did happen. I think there are ways to train your team to overcome that, and how, it's just like architecting anything, right? What safeguards do you put in place so you can do this safely and you can use it for organization? And I think anyone who pushes this off, like they push off social media or they push off web in the early days, the time span of recovering from that is going to be exponentially smaller than it was in the past. So yeah.
And if I need to add something, projects don't fail for the technology. The problem is 80% of the time the human. Change management is everything.
So like
It's not your fault. Kind of.
So I'm going to dig into something John said earlier. So like search versus ask. I grew up having to craft my Google queries very specifically, end this term, not this term, excluding this term, and now we've transitioned from querying to just asking and letting, the agent do it instead. So this question came up today already multiple times, like, is that the death of search engines? And what can a company do right now to actually keep their web presence if they just currently have traditional search presence?
You want to have this T-shirt?
I mean,
You're done.
listen, I don't. What was the question?
Gemini.
Search engines are dead.
Search engines dead. They're here. They're augmented. Like all your solutions are augmented with AI. They're augmented with AI as well. We see a lot of value of, having leveraging generative AI and LLMs in search. We see it with our customers. I'm more in the enterprise side. We're having all these conversations about internal search, so it's not exactly what you are doing. It's more of an enterprise search, so we just came up with this agent-based solution that does this. And the conversation is what? Can I find what I need by asking a regular question like I would ask a friend, a colleague? Yes, now you can. So, let's leverage that. Let's use it. Does it mean that websites go obsolete? It does not. Does it mean that we have to rely 100% on what we see in that first result? It does not. The same way we wouldn't rely on that first result on the first index website to have all the answers for you. So there's like a change in the way we're going to interact with the search, but I don't think it's dead.
The question is, people over 40 are using Google.com to search something? So,
Almost.
yeah,
Almost 40.
You use Google for searching because you're old, but now I can see my girlfriend only using Gemini to find information. I think it's not the dead, but it's
Change.
10 years, maybe. AI is fast, but it's not that fast. So
I will say on this, before when we talked about SEO, and SEO would bring traffic, would bring people to your site, right? And I like to say, when we talk about AEO is going to bring AI to your website. Here's why I'm saying this. People are getting used to a certain way of searching, of conversing, of asking, of interacting with your search engine. Are websites obsolete? No. Is the experience on websites going to drastically change? Absolutely yes, because we're bringing AI to websites. So the intent, the context, this hyper-personalization that we're talking for the last 15 years. Well, now, AI will really help you to do it for real. And I'll go a bit technical here, but what I'm saying here is the website as we know it will drastically change. So think about a search bar that you get on the website. You want to continue what you started on Gemini. You want to continue your search. You want to be able to converse with the site. From that conversation, you want the CMS on your site to be able to be a repository. So you want to be able to capture the product description. You want to be able to capture the images and the notes, the tones, personalized to what intent you put in that search bar, either from speech or from text. So the site will be completely modular, completely changed. And if you think that this is something that's for the future, there are sites like now that if you go on lexus.co.uk and you go through the Lexus RBX, you're going to have a concierge experience that's completely crafted to what you want and what you're looking for. It's something that we built and launched in the spring. And if you're there asking about the size of the truck because you're expecting a new baby, it's going to ask you what kind of stroller you're looking at, and it's going to see if it fits. It's going to be that personalized. Well, those kind of experiences is what you're going to take from the search engine and the experiences you're going to have from Gemini and from Google, and that's going to be the way website will not only survive, but will thrive into a new AI journey that's going to be a lot less fragmented than the one you have now.
I think she's buying a Lexus right now.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, look, the web has got extremely loaded over the last 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Like, the number of websites we have, and their shared purpose is to get viewers on it, to see content that's duplicated across millions of websites, to generate ad revenue, or to try to solve a problem in a unique way. But really, it's a lot of the same content across the board. I think this is going to make a lot of that obsolete. Right? I'm not going to argue that websites today are going to be like websites tomorrow, as Gabriel said. And I think with that, to the same point, experiences are going to change. Just like when we launched video and YouTube came out and everyone wanted video content to make your pages, it didn't get rid of websites, but it added additional mediums that you're going to operate on. And AI is going to open up a bunch of new mediums for people to interact with. And I'm hearing rumors about people trying to reimagine a cell phone, where it's not actually a cell phone, it's a wearable, and it's augmented reality or virtual reality or just voice activated, and you don't have a screen anymore. And doing things like that, AI is capable of processing that information in real time as you're walking around. And I think these innovations are going to change how people interact with content. And maybe we call it a website in the future, maybe we don't. I don't think websites are going to go away completely. I think the experiences matter, and or you have valuable content and people and experiences, you can build community around it, and that's still going to be a thing. But I think the number of mediums is going to expand greatly over the next couple of years. And AI is going to be a big catalyst for that.
Like a less passive experience and more of an interactive one.
Exactly.
So, quick follow-up question, and this is true. I just got an email today, and it says, "Hey, Devin, we're looking to get a level of effort on optimizing our site search with AI capabilities. So, what do I do?" What would be the first steps that I guess someone would take that just has a regular website and they want to? Well, this example is, yeah, the site's lagging when someone tries to purchase one of our products through ChatGPT.
If you don't mention Google, there's a search.
No?
No suggestions? I got to go back cold and be like, I don't know what I'm doing? Okay.
I mean,
I guess how would you optimize a traditional website?
yeah, so we're running a lot of pilots for Drupal AI websites right now. Where we're incorporating the LLM and RAG vector search into existing websites and running it on pilot. I find pilots are a much more approachable way to test it, because until people see it working and see how they configure it and see what they can do with it, everyone's still afraid of it and like, I can't do that. So I think that's an easy way to kind of dip your toe in the water and see what it can do for your site, see what kind of results you can get back in that experience. How many people here have done search tweaking with like synonyms and tweaking the search results?
Ugh.
I think AI and chat prompt engineering is going to be that same iterative approach. It's never going to be done, and you're going to constantly review the results that are coming back from your searches or your chats, and you're going to improve it. And you can do a number of different things. You can build a chat agent that pops up, and I think how sites tried to go for a while, just put the search bar in the hero and said, I just have a portal for you to go and search on my website and find what you want. I think that's actually going to be kind of achievable because that's what ChatGPT does. So like, I think those experiences will come back and they'll start to thrive again. But you can also do AI overviews like Google does on your regular search page and throw a block on there that has your normal search results, but pulls back the snippet of information just like the chat would within that native interface. And there's a lot of power that you can do in the short term to, start dipping your toes in and see what that is. And if I'm going to be honest, I think the user experience aspects of chat-based search are going to be phenomenal because the amount of context you can get out of someone on your website typing in fully contextualized queries of what they're looking for is not something you would ever get before from a keyword or a heat map or even a user survey when they're not in the moment doing it. And then you tie in another AI agent to scan all those things and look at similarities and do the processing of those, and now you can actually have some real-time feedback on what users are actually looking for on your website and what their problems are. And it'll take us away from this guessing game and actually give us a whole lot more insight into what's happening there. So I think that's where I'm helping, trying to push organizations to like dip their toes in and like look at what this can provide you, not just from a customer experience and technology standpoint, but even from a growth perspective. And if your competitors are getting this information and they can iterate faster, then it's even more of a disadvantage to you not to take that step.
I'll add to that, Devin, to your question, depending on who the client is and whether their requirement, business, functional, technical, but let's just go for the purpose of the example. We're going to try to reduce as much as possible a change into the stack. Now there's amazing capabilities we have right now, and it's not because Houda is sitting next to me, but I will talk about Google Vertex Search just for the sake of this example, but there are ways now that you can change the experience without changing anything. So you can have a stack, and if you have a good composable framework, you have a good commerce engine, you have a great payment engine, and then you have a great CRM. Once you have those established, if you want to put search on top, there are a way, like with Google Vertex Search, that you can bring that AI conversational experience on top of your site, embed it in, without having to pop the hood and spend a lot of dollars tweaking and changing everything within your own commerce engine. So that will be the way but without going in details, like that's something that there's great tools like Google Vertex Search right now that you can go and slap on top to bring that experience without spending a lot of dollars.
You can also use Coveo, it's from Montreal, working really well to do the same thing. Cheaper, kind of. But I think it's a good example when you say that the set is slow. It's like put it in cloud and ask, like, what I do, put your code, like, it's a good example of trying to use the tools to help you. Will give you a lot of weird answer, but some will be good. But yeah, Vertex AI search is good.
Or Coveo Reach, or Algolia. We can go on, but
Coveo is good. Use it. It's from Montreal.
So kind of going into that a little bit further. So it's been it's only been 3 years since you could ask a question to ChatGPT and it could give you some nonsense. But now, we're transitioning into it being, an actor or an agent. I guess, what is that? What does that mean? And, how is that going to improve things like operational efficiency and so on?
I think you said it right. We had the AI as a tool, and we're using it. That's it's analyzing your data and then predicting whatever you're looking at, going up, going down. And now it's really an actor in the sense of it's not really this passive interaction. It's more of let's look at it, let's analyze it, and maybe it's going to see a trend and send an email and act on it, and maybe draft your marketing campaign. Whatever process you were doing, it's going to be done in a more automatic way. But I think the better part of it is we're changing the workflow. So it is a good opportunity to look at our processes, and then we're like, okay, so we do this, and then this step, and then this other step. Is it really necessary? Is it really needed when you're using AI or an agentic AI workflow to do it exactly the same way we would do it manually or semi-automatically? And this is what we're seeing right now. I think there's a lot of value that is driven out of it, and it's a huge accelerator into innovation, into bringing more value
that's a really good point on this. I was sitting with L'Oreal in the past few months for multiple things, and I was in Paris, and we were talking with the data and AI leadership, and they were discussing with us and saying, we want agent, and then they said with their French accent, we don't only want chat, but this is very has-been. We don't want just chat. This is not good for us anymore. And what we're saying right now is basically what you will see being built and what you'll hear a lot is function called agent. So agent that will perform function through the workflows. And you'll start hearing about agent orchestration or agent to agent working with each other. So if you want to deep dive into agent orchestration, agentic orchestration layer, where you essentially build an agentic framework and agents that will work through your whole IT ecosystem and through APIs will go and perform functions and tap into other agents to continue that workflow from A to Z. And this is something that we're deploying right now at scale at clients like L'Oreal, that you will have a full-on workflow, let's say for marketing or for unlocking a payment status in an order, that will be performed from A to Z, from you writing your ticket to having it being completed and get the full feedback loop within the tech. It's going to be done essentially completely by an agent, an AI agent, or I would say agents, an agentic framework. So orchestration layers is something that we'll see a lot. So instead of being just rules, it's but actors that work together to perform complete sets of tasks.
We'll go back into reality. So where 98% of the company are not L'Oreal, I'll say what I see right now, it's company like starting to use ChatGPT for real, Gemini for real, and each time that let's say OpenAI launch a new product, let's say Agent 2 weeks ago, I think that's where we will see big change where people will use it for real, like put a one API in it and get real result on marketing, on report, on everything. But I think that going really agentic is for 3 years far.
You already have things. I mean, I agree. You have to start somewhere, and when you start small. I'm not saying deploy a full army of agents and then replace. But then we already have solutions that we use that maybe the chat experience is the one interaction, but behind the scene you have like an agentic design behind it, right?
But what Jean-Luc means is that it's in 30 minutes at the conference I'm giving.
I think tied to that, if data and privacy and security wasn't an issue, there's
That's done. Thank you.
there's a ton of products coming out on the market that do this. Like, I don't know if anyone's seen Zapier's new chat promos, but it's like click 3 buttons, hook up my entire data ecosystems wherever they put my data, and now I can build a chatbot that creates Jira tickets and runs products and searches through all of my Google Docs, right? And it's plug and play, and you click the buttons, and stuff is real, and it's coming, and it's scary.
I think this is where the real future is going. Really product, not like people trying to put everything in 8 or Zapier and make it work. I think that people are really building product right now that it's working. That you don't need to know all your data connecting to BigQuery, and after that praying that it's work. Now it's working like SaaS. We're coming to the SaaS area of agentic.
Yeah. And smaller companies are going to use that because they don't have the same concerns to continue to evolve and do it much faster. So, it goes back to the change management. How do we stay ahead of it at the larger scale organizations to compete with that?
So, after AI has replaced all the developers, like myself, what's the development landscape going to look like with all these no-code solutions, no-code applications, no-code websites coming into play?
I didn't see it work really well yet. I'm using a lot of low-code, no-code. I'll say in the near future, let's say 5 years, I think that for QA will be really, really good. For developers, I think they're good. Any developer, they're good for a couple of years. But I see that everyone will be a PM to the code. I think this is where we're going. Like, you need to understand what you want to do at the end, from design, from every step, and will be the new developer. And I think it's the same thing that I read something this morning. What Google will do is all the PM will need to do their own low-code solution. So you don't do stories. Do what you want to do, build it. Doesn't work, but ship it to engineers after that. I think that will be the future.
Yeah, I guess prototyping, and as you said, you are the PM of your AI coding agent. I don't think there's a replacement story here. And the reason is that we've seen, let's say, coding assistant technologies for the past couple of years. And they've been great, and developers are like, yes, I love it. But it only solves for like about, don't quote me on the numbers, but I think roughly 15-16% of the time the developer is actually writing code. If you look at the entire software lifecycle, there's more to that. And AI is coming here and it's solving around all the lifecycle from, that starts very early, the product teams. Well, you're not writing stories anymore. You're prototyping, you're like vibe coding something, you have a visual that's roughly working, it's absolutely not secure, it's kind of bolted up together, but it speaks more to the developer. So, do you need PRDs anymore? I don't know. For now, yes. I'm not saying no, but then maybe you're moving away from that. And then you have all the other part, the review, the code, the management, everything that comes around writing the code itself. I see solutions like, I don't know, when we started we had like code assist or
shaky code assist.
Yeah, I mean, my first experience was with something that was more of a frustrating experience, and then now you come back and you're like, oh wow. Because it's handling more than the code itself, it's really improving all your experience, and user experience in that sense is going to be super important parts of adoption. So yeah, I think we have it's going great, and I think we're pretty safe in that sense.
I agree with Houda on it being more of a nitro boost or support in replacing the developer, and I don't quote me either, but I agree with your numbers. I agree with your numbers, and we see it a lot among multiple cross-functional teams around the world. Some of them will be on Claude, some of them will try Codex, some of them will be in GitHub. We'll try different things. Most of the time, it's a nitro boost to improving a bit the velocity, but there will still need to be a true hands-on keyboard. And I like what you said, Jean-Luc, about like a lot of people look at the code, but all the aspect around it's so easy to write user stories faster and better, analyze the backlog, reanalyze to have a better prioritization, budget management, all the things around the life cycle of the developer. I see it having a lot more impact on velocity and full team velocity versus the code assist or the support that developers are going to get. It's going to be more of a natural boost. We're using multiple of these tools. I would say that they're right now in an early stage into being embedded fully amongst our teams.
Yeah, I think the other thing I'll add is there are a couple other AI presentations this morning that talked about what happens in normal dev teams right now. And I think if you use agentic agents to do code, you're gonna accumulate a significant amount of debt in your applications. And I don't know how many applications you guys have looked at legacy and you've dealt with either data issues or cleanup issues or just bloat in general. If you leave this unchecked and no one's thinking about that and solving it, it's going to become unmaintainable really fast, right? So I think that human interaction in the middle is going to be there, it's going to be needed, and I don't see it going away. But at the same time, I think we won't need a team of 20 developers to prototype stuff anymore, right? So I think it will have some impact, but it's not going to go away. And upskilling is the best thing anyone can do to move forward there.
Yeah, now that AI can actually do things like do an action, it kind of opens up a lot of issues, which is you mentioned the human in the loop thing. You got to have a human in the loop, but how do you establish, I guess, guidelines and guardrails for these AI processes? For example, banks are denying mortgages to people based on stereotypes and demographics and things like that, even though they have the same financial situation. Healthcare claims are getting denied because some AI agent went crazy and started rejecting a whole bunch of care. I guess what do we do to kind of kind of hold AI accountable, make sure that it doesn't have those biases or anything like that?
Yeah, I think workflows and process, right? Like, I wouldn't let my junior developers push code to production, right? So, we stop that with merge requests. So we have a process to push that through, and I think you can do that, but then you can also, there's going to be automation around this too, so have a different model come back and review it, right? And it goes back to the agentic framework to drive that forward, and then, then build the data analytics agent that goes through and analyzes it for the last year and pulls out anomalies that you go back and continue iterating on. But all of those reviews require humans in the middle, or it's just going to continue building its own biases into itself.
Yeah.
I agree with what you said here on the guardrails, or what we see in the agentic framework that we build is other agents. So it's like a setup of guardrails. So you're going to have a agent's going to prevent hallucination, another that's going to benchmark it against data, the one against intent. So you're going to build these different layers of agents that will double check and vet through different guardrails and gates before providing that information. So for example, if you're into the home renovation or home and garden sector, and you want to make sure that you're building your deck, your patio outside in your backyard, and you want to go on a site and say, hey, how do I build my 10 by 12 deck? What are the materials that I need? So pressure treated, nails or screws. Do you need to have a certain way of being built because you're in a certain region? So there's a lot of stuff that goes behind providing that information to make sure that what you get fits exactly what you need. So the example I'm giving now is highly regulated, because we have a code of construction, right? So this is a great example to see how you would build or question yourself to build the agentic framework to answer all these parameters to give an answer that is not hallucinated or that is re-providing the answers that the end user needs that sometimes they don't even know they need, right? So it shows a bit about the complexity to get to that answer. And it's not perfect.
It was not perfect as a human, also.
Yeah, I think, what they said, but also I'll put a caveat here because use AI, rely on AI. Regardless of the technology, you have an automated system that does things, and humans were lazy, and we kind of start trusting it. So I mentioned earlier, upskilling your teams. This is part of it. This is making them aware that they are in the loop, not just to click on agree, but to actually be present and make sure that everything makes sense. In security, we say it's a shared responsibility. I think it's still, again, a shared responsibility. It's not like, oh, well, the agent said it was okay, it was checked by another agent, so I'm fine. If you're still here, your responsibility is still there. That's pretty much
Everything has been said.
Not yet.
Don't need to add something.
Do you think that everyone has an AI offering, like there's Gemini, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, all these other crazy offerings? Every tech company has one. Remember when Google dominated search and Facebook dominated social media? Is there an edge that you think would give maybe one solution just, help them rise above the competition?
I don't think you can answer that one.
Okay.
On my head, I would say choose a family. I think that we'll have multiple winners. I think in social media, you have multiple winners. I think on AI will be multiple winners. I think choose one that you like and stay with it. Like if you like OpenAI, go all the way with OpenAI on everything. Gemini, same thing. Google, whatever. But I think that we will not have a clear winner. Like we have 3 cloud, multiple cloud, but we have 3 cloud. We have how many social media right now? Like 25. If you go in any countries, you have like WeChat in China. So I don't think we will have a clear winner. I would say we will have more specialized after that. That will be, you will have all the large model, which is nice, but after that, I think what will be really, really nice in the near future is really specialized for one thing. Let's say it's good for, I don't know, SEO, and it's not OpenAI, it's nothing's open source. And at the end, I think open source I will never say that normally, but I think in that case, OpenAI, open source will win.
Well, yeah, you know what? I don't think, my perspective and what we see here, it's not about the model. It's like, so today is Gemini, tomorrow is ChatGPT, and we keep going, and it's a healthy competition. It just goes up and up. But if you look at more of a, you're a company and you want to get that edge, it's probably what you said. Be super specialized. I think you need to see this again. The LLM, the language model, your chat experience is just a feature. But then what you do with that and what you're offering. If you're a cloud provider, then if you're choosing the cloud provider, look at what's around, all the enterprise features, all the security, what you can do, how you can manage. Is everything available with that provider? If you're a company that has specific products, that's great. We need that. We need more specialized generative AI products. And I guess that edge comes from ease of use, user experience, because your technology can be the best, and then if no one's using it, no one's using it.
Yeah.
Instead of an edge, I would say the companies that I find have an edge is the one that are doing a multi-cloud or they go in a multi-AI venue system. So instead of saying, hey, I'm going to do everything in Google, for example, and if you sat in multiple of the hyperscalers conferences all through the year, they all opened up. If you think about Google Mobile Garden and you see all the different LLMs that are available, it's not about the LLM. If you look at the LLM that were available 90 days ago versus now, half of them did not even exist, right? So having said that, where I see the most winners, even in small businesses, is you might have I want to try Adobe Firefly for my content creation because I really like what they do and it fits my workflow or my content creation workflow. I really like Google Search, or I really like what Bloomreach has to offer in terms of CRM and the way Lumi AI really works in Bloomreach for my CRM marketing automation. So there are multiple tools everywhere. Find what works for your journeys that will reduce the level of adoption or change management within your business, and look at the different tools altogether. And use one case by one case, a business brief, a business case that's very, very, very tight, the AI will serve its purpose. You were talking about ROI earlier, and I like to use the word, we need to become ROIst. So we need to be centered on ROI, and it's not about saying I'm going with one big cloud, one big service offering. Let's go composable, but let's go by bricks. Lego blocks by Lego blocks by Lego blocks. That's the direction.
Yeah, I think you said it really well, and I think as the Drupalist and a lot of people here in that community, I think that's the one thing that Drupal has an edge on because, again, we talk about these pilots, and one of the cool things that we did is we set up a garden of chat agents hooked up to 5 different LLMs. And to your point, there's 5 more that came out like last week. And that modular ecosystem is what's going to allow you to iterate and evolve and like change it day by day. But every LLM has its own bias, right? We know it does. And some are better at code, and some are better at. I think one of them was just getting sued for indexing a bunch of books.
Oh, Meta.
Yeah.
They torrented a whole bunch of books. Yeah. And put in those.
So different ones will have different results based on that training. I was talking to someone this morning about PHP code versus React code and how PHP has a lot of bad responses because it's got like 20 years of old bad code from Stack Overflow in it, and like the new Next.js frameworks only have like 2 years of code to go and train on. And I think we're going to see that continue to evolve and keep the modular approach to how you build systems to interact with these. Don't just build it for one. And I think there's fewer and fewer architectures now that are kind of siloing you into that anyway. So I think that's kind of what I'd say. Yeah.
And last question, and then I'll try to get some QA in. So there's a lot of people here. There's developers, there's project managers, there's site builders. I guess real quick, what's one thing that they could start with when they go home today and start moving towards AI?
Ladies first.
Okay, listen. I've tried not to plug in any Google stuff, but use NotebookLM. Go on NotebookLM. If you don't know what NotebookLM is, it's a Google product that's free to use for if you have a Gmail account. You drop in whatever content you want to learn about. So I'm guessing you want to learn about AI. You can ask it to just find content for you, and then create a learning material. So the cool thing about this is not only do you get a study guide, but you get also a podcast that you can listen to.
Video video since
Yeah, it's
last week.
coming. Oh, is it out?
Yeah, since last week.
So you can also get a video overview about this, but the podcast is perfect. You listen, you're walking. Actually, the values like we learn with multiple media. So you have like a concept map, and you have text, and you have an audio, and if you want to learn real quick, it's perfect. So that's like where you start. I think you start with this, and then you put on any content on algorithm.
I would say build something. Go on cloud, which is the better with that, and build an application. Anything, just for fun. Like I'm building things with my wife about medical, something that she needs. We built a really small Strava for fun for my kid for running around the house. Took 15 minutes. So try it, build it. Will not work. It's okay. But just to get the reflex to build it and play with the tools and just say, okay, I want that button blue. Please put a list of something there. I want this to do that. And it's like everyone is a developer now. A bad developer, but we are all developers. Yeah, that will be, and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think just pick a tool and try it. Yeah, Notebook LM was one of the first ones I played around with. And I think what fascinated me is immediately I took that and took it to clients and I put their websites in there and then created the podcast. And I was like, this is what people think about when they look at your website.
Yeah.
And here's what you need to do because this isn't how you talk about your brand in your web. So, even in those simple cases, using it and finding ways that you can incorporate it into your normal processes, I think there's so many tools out there that can do that. I also use Notebook LM for like meeting notes, turn it into audio, and then listen to it while I drive. So I think that's right on what's going on with the team and stuff. So think about things that you want to save time, save money on.
If you want an ego boost, put your LinkedIn profile in Notebook LM and listen. You will be the next Canadian star of something in something. It's really good for the ego.
Instead of a tool, then I'll say, look at your day-to-day. If you're a developer, UX designer, website developer, look at your day-to-day. If you're a product manager or product owner, look at your product and find a business case for yourself that you feel will move the needle, well, at least double digit. That means 10% or more. So if you look at your week, that is half a day out of the 5 days of work. And once you find that case, then build that tool, develop it, find the tool, and play with it and have fun. But find a case that will move the needle by a minimum of 10%. And then go on it and build something quickly.
And be rich.
Step 3 is profit.
Step 3, yeah.
Profit.
Build it, rich.
It's awesome. We do have a few minutes, so if there's any questions, we can kind of start.
What are your go-to sources to keep yourself updated?
I'm using Feedly, which is a XML reader. So you want AI, and it will give you all the best source. And if you pay $5 per month, you put all your newsletter and everything, and that will give you all the good content you need without put time to find it. I think it's my best $5 after tonight I spent.
I use the look at them. I give a time range of give me all the updates, and it's gonna find the sources, the podcast, this is the podcast, profits.
Jean-Luc's LinkedIn posts. I like same thing. I use AI to read, scrape, and search with Notebook LM, and then if you go outside of that, I'll say MIT has a great things.
HBR.
Yeah, HBR as well. Harvard Business Review. Great stuff. So those are my two.
What they said, conferences.
Yeah.
I mean, I think these types of events have gotten knowledge in every single
Panels too, right?
I want to follow people that do the same thing as you that you want to. Let's say you're a product owner, find the product owner you want to be and read what he posts. I will say in basket. what I do normally. Like people that I really respect, like I'm trying to reverse engineering what they think.
Question?
I've heard some people who think we're actually very close to AGI. I'm curious what the panel thinks in terms of A, how close we are to AGI, like a time frame when you think we'll see that, and two, how you think that will change these kinds of conversations.
What is the AGI for you?
That's part of the question, right? Because it used to be, it was like self-aware and these like very complex things, but apparently at OpenAI they've had an internal paper where they're talking about levels of AGI.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what I wanted to go. That I think we're really far. 10, 15. I don't think that we will see it right now because it's still like only code talking to code without really thinking. That's using something that really happened somewhere and put it in reflection. I think that's we're far, but I'm pessimist on that.
So I have the same question. I don't have an answer. When do you think it's going to be?
Same here.
I'm going to answer, but I think when quantum hits, it's going to be sooner than later.
Something related to that as well, and also something that John responded about PHP having more game versus for Apple. Do you think that some to a point where
Sorry, that's weird.
do you think it'll come to a point where we have new questions but new answers, just because you know the human aspect of actually experiencing something and sharing it has like disappeared or decreased?
Hey, that's a great question.
Do you want to repeat it for us?
No, but no,
You
but.
can answer.
Basically, are there going to be new questions with old answers?
Are we going to become dumb?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that I will reverse that question. Do I think that, let's say, PHP will get a really new life because it's way more easier to find the answer? I think yes, and that's maybe sometimes something will die, a new dialect or a new code that OpenAI will not have the time to learn on it. That can be the death of something. I think that I will reverse it. I think that this is possible. That the AI will give you always the answer that it's more secure, more in the guardrail. I think that will be maybe a stop to innovation on something, which is sad. Who knows?
Yeah, it's a maybe, is it a yes? Sorry, I'm not answering all these questions. I think you mentioned earlier, the web is like full of web pages, and some have some truth in them, and some is full garbage. So there's value to like still using our brain when we read information the same way you would read a newspaper, and sometimes it's just like a clickbait or
But who knows,
actual
those
value,
content
right?
is also AI generated.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a complete change in the way we need to interact with content. Our parents were like, oh, don't put your name on the internet. You have to make sure that the photo is not edited. Well, now you need to teach yourself and the next generation how to interact with this newly generated content. And it's crazy, right? Because we used to say a picture didn't happen. Well, I can make you a picture and a video and all of this. And then how can you be critical? I find that the youth are pretty good. They'll watch something, they're like, oh, this is AI. And then I'll show the same thing to my mom, and she believed that she puts a kiwi on a banana and you're saying, no offense to my mom, she's great.
Does it work? Did you try it?
No. So there's a lot of education on how to interact and how to be critical. I think this critical thinking, and are we going to get dumb if we let ourselves go? Yes. Critical thinking is major right now.
Yeah, I think we go back to what's the purpose and like the product model of these AI tools is the same thing as Google searches, is user experience and providing good information. I think you're going to see them retraining the LLMs or churning that content just like Google churns its search results. So you can continue to see that cycle go through. So whoever wins that game will probably win the other question of what is the best product for that type of thing. But it's gonna be multiple years, I think, depending on the use case.
Maybe like one more before there's time.
So just a quick follow-up on the last question about making us dumb or keeping us smart in the critical thinking. What are, like, each of you could just throw out one source that you go to for that media literacy and for that critical thinking. Who are the players out there in web development who are teaching various different stakeholders how to think critically about recognizing AI, teaching AI, literacy around it?
Everything what researcher does at university, where there doesn't have any money attached to it. I think this is a source that you can at least trust a little bit more.
The two ones that I follow outside of, and I will say yes about the money, but the hyperscalers like Google, Microsoft, and who is put out there, it is still, because it's a race, right? So they put very good content, but it's attached to the product offering, of course. So the way I balance it was what we said earlier. MIT and Harvard Business Review both produce really, really good content. One of it I wanted to throw earlier is when we were talking about making us dumb or how we interact with AI, HBR released a great report a month or two ago, and the fastest rising segment of people interacting with AI, do you know what it is?
Psychology.
Therapy and emotional support.
It was a good post.
Yeah, it was a good one. So, yeah, so HBR and MIT.
Can you do one more?
Yeah.
I think the next session's like 3:30. So
Yeah.
a burning question. Last one. There you go.
A lot of focus is on generative and LLM, and, you know, how AI is going to change search and help you write 10 times more spammy, shitty marketing emails. Where do you see areas where AI, beyond just LLMs and generative, is really enabling, I don't know, decoding the genome?
Thank you for that question. Content marketing, we don't care. Like, I think where we see like really, really nice features, let's say you are a factory and you need to look at image to see if one chip is good or not good. I think this is really good use of AI. Let's say a plane going in the right way with AI. I think this is the real AI. I think that's what we talk here is, well, let's say gimmick, but it's fun. But real AI is where real enterprise use it to do something. I think this is where the future is. This is where you will see real money attached to it. Like
a big segment I see rising up in the last year, to your question, and I'll show a quick video that shows it.
At 3:30.
At 3:30.
Yeah.
But ag engineering, agriculture engineering is one of the segments that invest mostly in those kind of innovation right now. There are great projects being done truly for putting seeds in places that they grow better, analyzing crops and everything, and I see a lot of dollars going towards ag engineering.
healthcare, cancer, everything. Better use of energy.
Yes.
Any big data modeling and research, I mean, even into diagnosis now, I'm seeing it start to pop up and supporting the healthcare system. So, yeah.
So in Quebec in 25 years.
All good.
That's it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, our panelists.